What's up, guys? We're out here back to the K24. We are working on it. I went to put in the crank the other evening, and it turns out that my main bearings were, I used the standard size main bearings. They were from King's race bearings, and they happened to be too much of a clearance between the crankshaft and the bearing. So we're getting a size of oversized bearings, getting a size bigger to compensate for that gap, because you know this is fine stuff, so we got to be careful with this. Anyways, I'm out here tonight, and I am currently working on putting the rings in and gapping them. So that's what we're up to tonight. I have my Wiseco pistons and rings out here, and we were just doing, basically I calculated from Wiseco's paper of what the ring gap should be, and I came up with top ring of 0.018 and 0.019 for the bottom ring. So now some of y'all might be doing it differently. Don't go off of my measurements. This is just my calculations and what my purpose for the car will be. I have picked the street, don't know if y'all can see it, zoom in there. I've picked the street moderate turbo nitrous, I believe, for the ring. And basically what you do is you take your bore size in inches and you convert it, or you take your bore size in millimeters and you convert it to inches by dividing your bore size by 25.4, and then you multiply your bore size by your these numbers you give you down here for the rings, and then that should come up with what you need for the ring gap. And then after that you get your feeler gauge, and you will here's my 0.018 feeler gauge. That camera's not focusing. 0.018 feeler gauge, and this is what we're going to want to come up with on the top ring. So yeah, that's what we are going to be doing here. So when we get this gap right down here, it should come out to 0.018 like I was saying. So that's what we're going to be doing. We have 2 rings per cylinder to do, top and bottom, and so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would be eight rings to take care of. So now keep in mind, the bottom ring is supposed to be larger, at least 0.022 or 0.03 larger, I think. So that's why that number for the bottom ring is larger than the don't ask me why, but I guess that's just the way it's supposed to work. So we're gonna continue doing what we're doing here. I'm gonna take that ring out because it's actually too small. The gap, the end gap, it's not where we want to end up. So we're just gonna work this thing carefully out of here. Now you got to be careful with this stuff, guys, because this stuff is, these rings made out of, I don't know what kind of metal it is, but it's not very sturdy, so you just have to be real careful when you're pulling it out, and just handle it gently. Try not to break them, because if you break them, I mean, they come in a set here from Wiseco with the pistons, so I don't know how hard it would be to get them. I'm sure you could get them fine. You could just maybe buy one piston with the rings or something, replacement rings maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I'm trying not to break them. So what we're gonna do is, I've got myself a little hand file here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go as straight as I can, and I'm gonna try to file that down along the edge, just so enough so I can start getting some metal pieces off and get it to the spec that I want. So now you might have to try this over and over again. I know I have. So we're gonna file some off, put it back in the cylinder, and then we'll come back to here if we need to take some more off. But then once it's in the cylinder, we check it. It's like 0.018 is supposed to be what we come out with. So I'm gonna get to work filing, and the problem with this, I don't have one of those professional ring filers where you can set the ring on a platform and take a little grinding wheel. It turns by hand. You crank it by hand, and it just cuts off a nice amount of ring that you need. This way you just have to be careful, make sure it gets nice and square, and yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. So we'll do that, and I'll pick you up when this thing is right for the ring end gap. Alright, so you can see now I got the top, this is the top ring, I got it set to 0.18, my bad. And the bottom ring, which is right over here, I have all the other ones done. They're all marked and labeled, as you can see here. But the bottom ring has been coming out to 0.020 without having to cut that. Now, I was using the hand file, but that did not work, so I took the grinder and carefully started it, let it run, and let go of the trigger, and then you just gently square the ring up, and you just kind of drop it down there while the grinder is still running. And in that way I was able to get the top rings all set to the spec, which would be 0.18. So basically we have to wait on my set of main bearings, because like I said before, the crank didn't have the right spec on it, so we're gonna have to wait for a new set. I'm gonna put some oversized bearings in it. But yeah, everything's cleaned up, everything's ready to go. I have my head gasket, my head studs, I have everything, pistons, rods. I just need my main bearings. So yeah, we're gonna drop it off there and we'll pick up with the next thing.